What is up, guys? This is Linthio coming at you with a Fluffal deck profile. So yeah, this is one that actually a lot of people have been asking me to do, and I thought, hey, why not? Because the deck's pretty cheap to get, and because I did do the massive case opening, I had free reign on all the commons and the rares, and it was pretty simple to get them all, and it's actually quite a fun deck. However, I don't believe this is competitive in the slightest way. Now, this doesn't mean to say the deck is shit, it just basically means that it doesn't have enough firepower to actually get through. Now, the main thing that I found in testing is that the boss monsters kind of lack. Like, Bear's not great, Wolf is cool, but it does suffer from some problems. So, I'm going to go through the deck profile, I'm going to do some bit of explanation as to what they do, and also what problems that these cards have, what problems the deck has in general, and what I think is going to be needed to actually fix the deck and make it a bit better, and also some of the reasons as to what actual card choices I've put in to make the deck a little bit more consistent. So to start off, we have 3 Fluffal Dog, arguably one of the cutest cards in the deck. Fluffal Dog is a level 4 Earth Fairy, and it's a 1700 attack, which is alright. It's not that great, but it's okay. Basically, when it's normal or special summon from your hand, you can add an Edge Imp Sabers or 1 Fluffal monster from your deck to your hand, except itself, and you can only use it once per turn. So this is one of your main recruiters. It's really annoying that it says special summon from your hand. If it was just special summoned in general, it would be really nice, because it just means that you can abuse it a little bit with any graveyards, reborns, or anything like that. But unfortunately it doesn't, and they all have the same text from your hand, so it's a little bit unfortunate, but what can you do? So Fluffal Dog is at 3 because he's kind of one of your main searchers. He's kind of a little bit like a Stratos, the deck Stratos, and yeah, so you kind of need him. Then we have 3 Fluffal Owl, one of your main kind of toolboxes, one of your main cards to get the deck going. Level 2, 1000 attack, 1000 defense. Also fairy, they're all fairies. It's when a normal or special summons, you can add 1 polymerization from your hand, from your deck to your hand. You can pay 500 life points. Fusion summon 1 Frightfur, fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or your side of the field as fusion materials. You can only use it once per turn. So, a lot of people I have seen of deck profiles and everything like that, and people talking about it, misunderstand how this card works and how to use it effectively. Now, people understand the effects, but people seem to be skipping over the whole, what's the point in the second effect when you're just adding polymerization to your hand? Well, there are many reasons. The fact that you can do kind of 2 combos with this is, if you summon it, you can activate its first effect, obviously get the polymerization, then the 500 life points, get rid of it and Edge Saber maybe, and then you summon out something, then you, with Edge Saber in the grave, you bring it back and then you can polymerization another one. So the fact that you can get 2 monsters technically out of this is quite good, and it's just pretty good, but you need it at 3 because you need the consistency that it brings to the deck. Then we have 2 Wabbit. 2 Fluffal Rabbit, basically it's there to just be fusion fodder. When it's sent to the graveyard, you can add Edge Imp Sabers or a Fluffal monster from your deck to your hand. From your graveyard to your hands. Deck would be pretty good, but it's graveyard. So you're just recycling. You're basically just making those fusions a little bit less of a neg. And the same with Cat, it gets the polymerization back. Again, just trying to get rid of the negatives that, actually have fusion summoning. So these are pretty important, and if you can get them, you kind of want to, because it means that you can just keep up your advantage. You don't lose out too many cards, so on and so forth. Then we have the 1 Bear. This it shouldn't have been ulti. The other one should have been ulti in my opinion. But Bear is alright. It's not the greatest one, to be honest. Its effect is you can send it from your hand to the graveyard. Set 1 Toy Vendor directly from your deck to your spell and trap zone. You can also tribute the card and target 1 polymerization in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Only use it once per turn. So Bear is here just because it can put in a bit of work, but you don't I have problems with this card. Like, it's not that great, to be honest. It's a level 3, it's alright, it's pretty poor stats. The effect's not bad, it's good for thinning out the deck, but I wouldn't really recommend playing anymore. I'll go into more reasons why this isn't that great with some of the card choices later on, so yeah, we'll get into it. And then we have the Imps. These are one of your main cards you need in the deck to perform the fusion summoning. And basically, the effect reads as follows. If this card is in your graveyard, you can place one card from your hand on top of the deck, special summon that card, special summon it in defense position on user once per turn. It's a level 3 Dark Fiend, so it's tour guidable, which is quite important because you can do a lot of plays with it. So for example, you can tour guide, get this, then overlay into something, detach the material, and then you are more than welcome to bring it back and do a fusion summon, or you can do it the other way around, where you go into the tour guide, then fusion summon, then bring it back, and then overlay. Card's really good. It's cloggy at 3, so that's why I don't play 3. I have tested 3, but you can search it up the arse, and it's just everywhere to be seen. So the card is really good and really, really needed, but it is really irritating when you don't see it and you have all those Fluffal monsters in your hand. Then we have two Summoner Monk, sorry. The reason for playing this card is just some consistency. So, Toy Vendor, which I'll go into a little bit more detail in a bit, is a card that you rarely want to activate because its effect is such a risk. With Summoner Monk, it helps to gain some of the pluses from its effect, and I'll go into a little bit more detail in a sec, but Summoner Monk's really good because you can also go into that larval chain to ditch the Scarm or the Toy Vendor, which I will go into a bit more detail in a second. 2 Junk Synchron, because look at all the things you can get. You can't get any of them, but this, and this, and this. So you can go into some nice synchros. Junk Synchron is just a nice card that I like using, and it hasn't really let me down, so it is a great card in my opinion. Then we have the 3 Tour Guides. Reason I play 3 is just the deck needs a little bit of consistency, get to the edge imps quite quickly, and also with the Scarm to get the pluses. I'll show you now, there's the Scarm, because, you know, might as well. Scarm searches out lots of things, so it's really, really nice. So having these 3 is good, also helps just with some different combos and plays and so on and so forth. 4 of my techs, the hands. So, a lot of people don't like the hands, but what this gives the deck is something that the deck is really missing, and that's a little bit of offense and defense. So, we all know what the hands do, and the hands just offer a bit of protection. They offer a bit of offense as well, and it makes people think twice, and you can technically stall out a little bit just to get these here and going, so that's why I play the fire and ice hands. A lot of people might not agree with that, but hey-ho. So going into these spells, we have the 3 Toy Vendor. Now, a lot of people really don't like this card. I'm not the greatest advocate for it, let's say, but I will read the effect. So it is a continuous spell card. Once per turn, you can discard 1 card, draw 1 card, then reveal it. If it is a Fluffal monster, you can special summon 1 monster from your hand. Otherwise, discard the card you drew. If the card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Edge, Imp, Sabers, or 1 Fluffal monster from your deck to your hand. So the first part of the effect isn't exactly great, but the silver lining of it is, it's not, you don't have to summon the card that you drew. So if you draw like dog, you can actually summon the owl or whichever one you want to summon. The problem with this effect is that it's difficult to pull off at times. Now you can combo it with Edge Imp to pop the card back on top of the deck, a Fluffal monster, then activate Toy Vendor to special summon it, which is, you know, a cute combo, but more often than not, it's not really going to work out that well. Let's be realistic here. And the only saving grace why this card is actually pretty decent is that the searching effect, and you can actually abuse it with Larval Chain, you can abuse it with Summoner Monk, and so on and so forth. There are other cards, you know, that you can abuse it with, but for me, Toy Vendor is a card that isn't that great, but in a deck that is not really very well supported because it's only just come out, and it's a pretty underdog deck. It needs to be in there just to kind of help with the consistency. If you want to go for broke and discard a card to hope that you get the Fluffal monster, then good luck to you. 2 Polymerization. You don't need any more than 2. Because you can search it and you can recycle it, that's why it's there, blah blah blah. There are other fusion cards that you can use, like Dark Fusion or anything like that, but I just prefer the Polymerization, to be honest, because it just makes things easier. 3 Mystical Space Typhoon. I don't want to get caught with the floodgates, I don't want to get caught with my pants around my ankles, so 3 MST. That's why it's there. And then finally the 1 Raigeki. This is just to kind of clear my opponent's annoying board that we don't want. So then going on to the traps, we have 3 traps done. This is just to make sure my plays go off. This deck can technically OTK with Wolf, It doesn't happen very often unless you start running jank cards like Fusion Weapon and Megamorph and United We Stand and all of them. I've seen a deck like that, but it seems really linear and just looks like it could be dogged, awful hands. So I don't run any of those cards for that reason, if you were wondering. But Trap Stun is there just to kind of help your place go off, and it's just general protection. Trap Stun's really good right now, in my opinion. 2 Phoenix Wing Blast, or Wind Blast. This is a great card to use with Toy Vendor. Because not only do you spin a card onto the top of your opponent's deck, or put it in the extra deck, you get a search of Toy Vendor. So Phoenix Wing Blast is a really great card. Could up it to 3 if you so want, but I feel that it's just fine at 2, because I want to make room for these 2, which are the Fiendish Chains, because Fiendish Chains is a great card, and Winder is a bitch. So we don't want Winder to kind of block us. So going into the extra deck, we have the 1 Frightful Bear. Don't really summon this very often at all. His effect isn't bad, but it's not the greatest one in my opinion. It's kind of overshadowed by Wolf, and I wish this was the ulti, because this would be awesome if it was ulti. Wolf is one of your main monsters that you're going to be summoning. Basically, its effect is you must first fusion summon it, blah blah blah. So use the Edge Imp Sabers, and also a Fluffal monster. And his effect is you can attack the number of times each battle phase, depend on how many Fluffal monsters you use to fusion summon it. So if you do Edge Imp and 2 Fluffals, then he can attack twice. Very, very simple, really cool card. Wish he had a bit more attack. If he had 2.5, it'd be really, really good, but 2,000 is just really, really low. And it's really painful that it is that low. But we shall persevere. It's not too bad. But there is a nice thing you can use with this. If you use this and you obviously go into Junk Synchron and go into Armory Arm, you can cause some pretty painful attacks. Level 4s, we have the 1 Exeter Knight, the 1 level chain. As I said, you can use it to ditch cards. Really, really nice. The 1 Castell. Castell's really good card right now. Better than 1-on-1 in my opinion, because it solves both problems of Shadows or any other decks, as opposed to 1-on-1 that struggles with Shadows, because they still get the effects. Going into level 3s, you have the 1 Ghost Trick Alucard, the 1 Giga Brilliant, because Giga Brilliant's actually pretty brilliant, no pun intended, please don't dislike, with Fright for Wolf. Just being able to boost it up and get those more attacks going, it's actually pretty decent. That's what I like it. 1 Mecha Equipped Engineer, just to kind of save the cards. And then finally the 1 Zen Mains. And going into the Synchros, we have the 1 Black Rose Dragon, the 1 Goyo Guardian, the 1 Armades, the 1 Armory Arm, as I said. Tempted to run 2 of these just because it is pretty easy to get out. And it also really helps put, Wolf on 3k and do damage. And then finally the 1 Herald of Arc Light. So that is it, guys. I hope you did enjoy the deck profile. It's something a bit new, something a bit different, and I appreciate that some people might disagree with some of the card choices that I've had. Please understand that this was asked of me about a week or 2 ago, and I've been testing it as opposed to, well, I've been testing with other decks as well, but this is the grasp that I have right now. I do realise I've probably missed some combos, but overall I think I've got it down, and there's only way up really. So that is it, guys. I hope you did enjoy the requested deck profile. I will be doing a couple more from the new set, but don't look out for Quill-Offs or Burning Abyss, because I'm not going to be doing them, but it doesn't stop me from going to locals and getting profiles there if you do want them. So that is it, guys. I hope you did enjoy the quite long deck profile. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think of the deck and how cute and fluffy it is. Like, comment, subscribe, and I shall catch you guys later.